All right, so we touched on it at the top of the show, and it's a story that we've been following for weeks now. We're talking about that deadly stabbing on the light rail, the Blue Line. In the wake of that deadly stabbing on Charlotte's light rail, we've gotten so many people from state lawmakers to city leaders, the folks in the community, also politicians across the country. You heard from House Leader Mike Johnson earlier in the show. President Trump has reacted. The White House sent out a statement yesterday. So much reaction towards this stabbing. It brings up so many topics when you talk about safety, when you talk about bail reform, when you're talking about crime, just a lot of things in the pie here. So we're continuing to follow this story. WCNC Charlotte Jesse Pierre is continuing to follow the story at every angle. Jesse, so many things at play. I know you're following up when it comes to safety, and you talk to some local leaders. What are they saying? What are they saying, and what are you following today?
Well, I'm right outside of the East-West Boulevard station stop where this tragic incident happened. Again, Irina Zarutska, whose life was tragically taken here, and DeCarlos Brown was arrested for this crime and charged with murder. Following this incident, there's been national coverage of this. There's been a lot of outrage locally, statewide, and so forth in regards to safety and security. There are questions about gaps in the mental health system. There's questions about, the judicial system and why DeCarlos Brown, who does have a long criminal history background, why he was still out on the streets, especially when he's being evaluated for another case when it comes to his mental competence and so forth. Now, yesterday, Mayor Vi Lyles made a post saying that there were some immediate steps that were going to be taken in regards to safety and security, deploying a stronger presence on platforms and to increase fair enforcement. Now, throughout the day today, we were earlier in Uptown in the main CAT station and so forth. So we did see police stationed out there. We did see more guards in and around the area. Some folks I spoke to say they saw some extra security. Some felt like the same. Now we're here at the East-West station. When we got here, two CMPD officers did get on the rail line that was here. So it looks like they're, riding the trains. And that is one of the things that folks are saying, right? It's nice to have security and police stationed outside of these different station stops or the center in Uptown. However, they want to see more security, more officers riding the actual rail line, riding the buses in here, and that is what would make them feel more secure. Now, I did speak to some local city leaders, and overall, that is kind of the feeling. They want to continue to push that. They want to see more security efforts when it comes to making sure that folks know they are taking this seriously, and that is their priority when it comes to making sure Charlotte is safe and riders are safe and staff that work for CATS is safe. Now, when it comes to some city leaders I spoke to, some are calling out Mayor Lyles and her comments, saying that she has not been, and other city leaders have not been proactive enough or strong enough or aggressive enough in taking care of a bigger problem, but in reference to this and further safety issues throughout the city and on CATS rail line. Of course, we also have the sales tax and the red line on the line, and so there's a lot of talk about making sure that the CATS, that folks feel safe and confident about public transit so that they can support, the sales tax and so forth. So, we'll just kind of see again where things go from here. As of today, again, I did see some additional police over here. I did see some extra guards at the other stations and so forth, just like Mayor Lyles mentioned, would be deployed, and we'll just kind of have to see how consistent that is. And one thing that was mentioned to me was it comes down to funding, right? You need money to make sure to be able to upkeep this extra level of security and guards and police and so forth to make sure this happens. And that's what we're kind of focused on. I'll have a story later today, and you'll hear from local city leaders on their thoughts about the actions that are being taken. Nick?
And Jesse, before I get you out of here, one quick question, and correct me if I'm wrong. You're speaking with Tart Bakari, former city councilman, also was within the Trump administration up until about a week ago.
So I spoke to Malcolm Graham earlier, who's a city councilman now, and then I also spoke to a former city councilman, Tariq Bakari, as well. And he shared some outrage with how things are being handled, and just overall, he just has a strong feeling about the city and city leaders, the need for them to be tougher on crimes in general, and for folks to stop pointing the finger and really look at themselves to say what can they do to fix the situation on their part. And if everyone does their part, then there could be some progress there. Nick?
Jesse Pierre, following all things regarding the story, quite frankly. Again, you can catch Jesse at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock this evening. And it's so much information on our digital platforms. Jesse, thank you for your time.